Whoa. Yeah. Whoa. Yeah. I'm in my zone now. I do what I want, left the porch, left the home now. Pleasing me alone now. Your energy down and I'm good on my own now. You call me a weirdo. I'm using that shit just to give me the dough now. You calling me bro now, but left me to die when you see me no broke down. Real eyes, yeah, they recognize. I don't even have to say it right. I don't even have to say it out.
Motherfucking
shoulder like it's winter fall. Ain't no question who the bigger dog. Ain't no reason we should bigger dog.
No love for the ass, dude.
I love it all.
Okay.
I'm an equal opportunity.
Just making sure.
Equal
Just
opportunity.
making sure.
All right, I don't think Jerry will sue us. I'm gonna let that ride a little bit. Jerry actually be out here spitting. Like, I've listened to like 3 or 4 things since they like left last week. Also, shout out to Far Hills. Shout out to Jerry the Black. That was Jerry the Black, folks. So, you know, if you like good old quality A-grade hip-hop, fuck with... I feel good being able to say that, like, fuck, because he actually, like, can rap. Like,
as opposed to saying, yeah, go support this.
Yeah, I don't feel like I'm obligated. Oh, support the homie because he's doing stuff. It's like, oh, no. Like, this nigga actually rapping. Like,
right.
And he was like,
and I actually identify with something he's saying as opposed to like, yeah, he came on the show, so.
No, he be getting off. Yeah, so talented people, folks. We know talented people. And go fuck with it. I don't know if he has an album or anything, but I know he got a couple singles. I saw like 5 or 6 songs on YouTube and shit. So, Jerry the Black, people, good quality A-grade music. Anywho, out there, listeners, how y'all doing? How y'all feeling? You know, y'all don't call in and say nothing, but I'm gonna ask the same because I love you. Love you from my heart.
Right, from a distance. From
exactly.
a distance.
What's that shit Duval say? It's like, we in this together, but stay the fuck away.
But stay the fuck away from me. Depending on what it is. Stay the fuck away from me.
Indeed.
Some shit, bring it on in. Bring it. In abundance, please. Not just, no, don't give me no sample. This ain't Costco. I need the whole, let me get all of that.
Yes.
People, what's going on? Welcome. Come on in. Welcome. I'm away to everybody. I'm away. What up, though?
So, yeah.
How's it? How are you feeling? Since we asking about everybody else.
That's true.
Ain't nobody calling and ask us how we feeling about stuff. Y'all just look at us talk shit on the pod, which is cool. By all means, please look even more. Tell everybody. But how are you feeling, especially given the events this week? What's on your mind?
You know what? I feel okay. I was talking to I actually had a really funny, not funny, but like crazy conversation with my supervisor because she called and we have, everybody has like those Zoom meetings and shit. So she was trying to do her like
basura.
Yeah, she was trying to do her like, so how are you feeling? How are things going? And it was like you realize those memes start to be really true. Like,
right.
There are people in Zoom meetings who are just tired of it. And I was just like, half the conversation was like, I was like, how hard do I jump out the window? Because I really like my fuckings be like at an all-time low. Like, I'm not gonna shit on her. But, she got to talking. I was like, oh, look at you. Saying, she's like, nah. She was like, some people you just got to cut out your life. She goes, even with this, I've had events. I've had to learn things. And she's like, there's people that I've had to just cut out my life. And I was like, all right. I'm not inviting you to cook out.
Right.
Like, I like it.
You cool, but you ain't got to pander to me. So
cool.
you want to get started early today with shit talking, apparently.
I mean, I'm always down for the shit talking.
Okay, so we can. I say we jump right into that topic. People. Those of you that are lightly pigmented, our lightly pigmented friends, our pink people, our flesh tone factors.
Hello to the melanin deficient.
Right. All of y'all's. Can y'all please, when there's something that's racial going on within the country, can you not come to us with the obvious, so how's everything going? How are you feeling with what's going on? Motherfucker, you know how I feel. I may not feel exactly how you may think, but you know that I'm not happy. I'm not thrilled about it. And you don't have to come and pander to me just because there's something racial going on. Like, if you're not doing this year round, I appreciate the effort, but let's be more consistent with our effort. Do this 365, not just when some shit happens and you feel like you have to do it because HR and you want to make sure self-care. Like, no, I don't want you doing this because somebody told you that you should check in with your coworkers or the people that you're supervising or whatever the case is. No, check in with me year round. Make cultural issues a discussion year round. Let's be culturally competent 365 days of the year, or shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
I'd rather you say nothing sometimes than you pander. Depending. But if you're gonna pander, make it a consistent pander, please.
No, I like the nothing over the pander, because I like knowing, not trying to say draw your fucking swords and axes yet, but I don't like the fake pander shit. I'd rather just know who my enemies are. You're not gonna say shit, then I just look at you as an enemy and I keep you over there, and that's cool. I don't like I've seen a lot of people, and this might be a little nitpicky, and everybody's kind of tensions are high during all this, but there's an uptick now of when all these it seems like everybody just nationwide we're starting to have videos of, oh, you guys are silent. Oh, you're talking now when it's popular. And all of a sudden you started to see The Rock make statements and whoever the fuck else, big name celebrity, just start to make statements. And then I just started to see out of nowhere, motherfuckers was going to find posts and pages I've never seen.
Right.
Just, this is how we talk about inclusivity. These are microaggressions. This is what it means to be racist. These are systematic things. And I'm like, it's some of you motherfuckers who I've known personally that there have been conversations kind of lightly flared up, like in passing conversations. Y'all was not saying shit at all. Y'all was completely like hitting like back. So I'm like, all of a sudden now y'all are like social activists when it's okay to be like I'm trying to. I find myself trying to figure out, okay, at what point am I not being receptive to somebody on their journey to being a fucking decent human being,
right?
And am I being okay and going, you're full of shit?
But that's the thing that people don't recognize. We can tell when you're full of shit. Dwayne Johnson, fucks with him. But I can tell your written speech, it was filled with a little bit of sincerity, but it was mostly acting, which, I mean, that's your job, so I can't get mad at you for doing what you're known for doing. But come on, like we can tell, like us being in the social work field, we're used to having these discussions on a regular basis, and most of America isn't. So I guess that's our privilege because we're used to hearing when it's genuine and when it's ingenuine. But when it's ingenuine, you can still participate in the conversation. You can still do your part without having to be fake about it. Please don't be fake about it, because then it seems like, oh, you're doing this to make sure that there's no backlash. Not because you're concerned, but you really just don't want any negativity to come your way in regards to your company, your brand, or yourself specifically. So you rather say something even though it's ingenuine as opposed to saying nothing and hurting yourself financially. No, if you're going to be quiet, just be quiet, or keep it super simple. Just keep it super simple, like, yo, this fucked up. Not to say you should say that on your business page, but you can just say, look, I don't agree with what's going on. If anybody of color that, works with me, if you need my support, let me know. Like, keep it super simple. At least it sounds more genuine, but you're also doing your part. But don't tap dance. Don't tap dance. Please don't tap dance.
Yeah, it's like tap dancing or like trying to. There are things that I'm very okay with. You have to have balance. There's shades of gray in certain things for me. Things like this though, it's like you can't toe the line. Like you're either I'm against police brutality and the unequal murder of like unarmed black people. That's a pretty fucking simple thing,
right?
So for me to watch you go, I'm like, this has been happening for a while, and all of a sudden you just this was the one. Like it's like this is the one, right?
Yeah,
what made this the one? Like
we got a whole fucking poster board and T-shirt full of names, but this is the one.
Like we said last week, there's names. Right? There's something where somebody like put all of them like together, like, and that might be just in the past, whoever. And it's just there's so many names. I can't read the font. It's just I know every line is a name. So it's like when niggas was saying this, because I know I know too many people out here who've been posting. We've been saying things, been bringing awareness, whatever way you want to do it. Whether you want to march, you want to use your social media platforms, whatever. So like what is it? Like I just it's like, not to say it's popular, but now it's like a big thing,
right? And
I think it's more so people are fearing being on the wrong side of history as opposed to you genuinely are having like a good, like it's people out there on like to me it sometimes looks like the social media version of the motherfuckers coming out there taking photo ops, drilling shit,
right?
Or and then literally getting in their cars.
Yeah,
and
if you don't knock it off. I saw one. I'm pretty sure you saw the post of the white girl that was coming up to the protest. Everybody walking down the street protesting. She come full outfit, dress, heels, the whole 9 yards, fixing her hair, make sure. Let me get this shot. Chink. All right, we out. Like, no.
She had a black dress on looking like somebody from the Coven on American Horror
Story. If you're coming to protest in something that's going to make you look more attractive, you look inauthentic.
It's terrible.
It doesn't align. Your actions don't align with what you're trying to appear to be doing. That's ass backwards. That makes you're better off just putting whatever picture of the poster that you're holding up on your page without you in it.
I'm telling you, my favorite thing now is just look at people sometimes, and I'm just gonna point like that's a mental illness. Like,
I mean, if we do that, then I could just close my eyes and spin in a fucking circle with my arms.
Like when I saw her do that, I'm just like, okay, let's think about this. Like, it's 2 or 3 of y'all in the car, and y'all went through the process of we're gonna get in the car, we're gonna get dressed, we're gonna
multiple people,
we're gonna go to the protest, we're gonna park in the middle of where people are because we had to make sure for the picture, like you thought about this, that you had to make it a good picture. You had to get really when it was the meat and potatoes of the march to drive in the middle of the street amidst, tell them to excuse themselves while they're protesting so you could get out. That's crazy. Like at no point did a thought go, bitch, this is fucking
not for anybody involved. Like the saying, how many people does it take to screw in a light bulb?
Nobody
like,
said.
How many non-melanated folk does it take?
Dumb? Y'all don't think this is
right?
A bit?
Not one person. Okay. Nobody in the car said, "Hey, let me out, though. Let me out. This is not a good idea. Let me out. Let me out."
Motherfuckers are crazy. Like I just know this. Like, but you just seek help. Like I just feel like this is a safe space for just to have this. That Man. Shit makes no fucking sense
at all. You can literally do the bare minimum and show your support, people. Like I appreciate all forms of support. Cool, but put a little bit more thought into it. Put a little and.
Yeah, I'll sprinkle that. I appreciate. I'll appreciate some of you who are sincere, because I've seen people who sincerely have said some shit, and then I've seen people who have sincerely like, I'm really, really like learning now. Like I'm my bad. Like I really have been fucking up. I know they exist, so I'm gonna give them their
right.
But the rest of you, and here's my thing about being like, I'm cool with them existing. Like I'm a little off us, bring it back to us because that's what fucking matters. We when it comes to us, I'm getting a little over us getting mad at racist people being racist. Like I want to, like, they're there. I want to know they're there. I'm not really in the game of changing their minds, of getting them to see like okay, like Drew Brees. I'm just not fucking with Drew Brees. Right. I'm not mad about it. I'm not going to lose no sleep. I'm not going to be like, I mean, the NFL as a whole, but
that's a whole nother discussion.
I'm going to table that. Just ride with me in this scenario, folks. If you are just, we know the NFL is trash, but or they've done trash things, but whatever. If we're gonna just say, I am a Saints fan, and you're like, yeah, I fuck with the Saints, and you fuck with your team. Like, I love my team. You can love your team and still fuck Drew Brees. Like, right. This racist motherfucker here. It is, and that's why I just feel like it is almost more important than taking on the motherfuckers who, not to say like, they're motherfuckers who shoot you in the street, but the motherfuckers who got the Confederate flags on and shit, like, great. I know you are 100% tried and shoot, but the Drew Brees I can't believe he did so much during Katrina. He was our friend. Was he? That like as much as Drew Brees is whatever with his statement, I feel like that's up to us to go, okay, man, like a motherfucker like will do like this, and we be like, oh my God, he's an amazing person. He danced with us. Like I saw something where it was amidst this, there was people like electric slide. I'm not electric slide with no motherfucking National Guard, nigga. Like
I don't electric slide with my family at the cookout. So I'm damn sure not electric sliding with you niggas out in the street.
Yeah, I just our short attention span. Like that's. Even with the jokes that's been posted, a lot of shit that I've been really focused on now is like, whatever little platform or whoever listens, if it's 5 of you, just more of, I think we get kind of caught up in trying to be too nice, too loving, trying not to bully others. But no, nigga, be consistent. Because if I'm consistent, if we're consistent about this, and somebody is changing their behavior and they with the shits, then they're not gonna be bothered. Somebody who goes, why you guys still talking about that? You're a racist. Like I'm not pulling up. You're racist, and like that's it. Like saying
there's
don't.
Different
racist.
boxes of racist. I won't put you in the over. We'll give you the subcategory of racist. You could be a subconscious racist.
Yeah,
whatever the case is.
Yeah, man, you could be baby AIDS. You ain't full blown
Right.
AIDS. You look baby
Right.
AIDS. I don't want no AIDS. So
Either
that's
way.
all I'm saying. I just don't want no AIDS. But you might be.
And
you're not a full herpes outbreak, but you herpes.
You treatable.
Yeah.
Some people are treatable. Like you may be somewhat racist or have some sort of discrimination in your blood for lack of knowing anything different. And that's okay. But some of you, like most of us, will seek the knowledge. You'll seek an opportunity. You'll sit and you'll listen. The overt racist, like Confederate flag hat, dad trucker hat status outside with some Wrangler jeans and a gun holster. I'm not trying to change your mind. I'm just glad you're letting me know what it is so I know who to watch out for. I'm okay with you being openly racist. There's millions and millions of motherfuckers in this country. I don't need all of you to like me.
No.
I'm okay if some of you don't. If you don't like me because of the color of my skin, you're more than welcome to hate me. That's okay. I don't have to be there with you. It's even like Drew Brees. I'm not a Saints fan, but also it's Louisiana. Like, are you really surprised that a white person that's been in Louisiana for this long might have an inkling of discrimination in them? Are you really surprised about that in the South? Come on now. In the boot, you really? Let's not kid ourselves.
I want us to be just a little more. I don't ever say be less forgiving, but just be less. I don't know, like gullible and less.
Stay focused.
Yeah, stay focused. Like just be less inclined to just quit. Like, oh, we got it. Whew. Like that's not. I don't think that's the mindset you should have. Like,
no.
like okay, like when you hear, and this is not like a call to violence, but when you hear on the opposing side, like the racists, they're dead set. Like we will go outside and put you down. That's a conviction for their people.
Right.
It's motivated from the worst ways, and it is acted out in the worst ways. But for us, I think we need more of a motivation to. It's not like, okay, we need to get this event done and then whew, we're done. Like no, we want to be better. Like systematically. Like if you just look at it, okay, you should think about it this way. If it took X amount of hundreds of years for the system to be built, it very well might take the same amount of time to break the motherfucker down. So you should buckle up. Like be prepared to. There's more resources now. There's more ways for us to come together now. But at the end of it all, nigga, you should be mentally prepared to buckle up as if we was on horse and buggy and had to figure it out.
But I think even going back to that, it may take that long, but we don't have to be super surprised with the super racists because we have our super racists on our side too. I mean, there's many a place in the South and especially Florida where somebody will get called a crack-ass cracker to his face all day. Like you have your extremes on both sides. So if y'all want to just hate each other so much that you don't listen to reason, we'll let y'all do that on both sides. And us logical people in the middle will figure out how to make some changes accordingly, which is not going to happen overnight, but we need to come together to figure that out. We got to come together on our side first, let alone coming together with other people.
Yeah, that's what I'm like just really I focus on is just us to a root of how we attack things, even for our own. Like just us talking to us. Like if I'm, kicking it and I'm on my radio platform and, I'm talking and I'm enjoying conversation with somebody and somebody comes to me with a very Trina-esque statement, I'm not finna get mad. I'ma just not fuck with that person no more. I just feel like, like last week, like, you sometimes you just gotta Wakanda that bitch, man. I'ma fuck with, okay, I know I got it's 100, say if just arbitrary number is 150 million of us, 150 million strong. But I know that only really 50 million are fucking with the progress and the collaboration and, we got resources. Cool. Like 100, the rest of you 100, you guys might want to talk, you might want to dance about it, you might want to scream online. But these 50, I know really, I don't hate anybody over here, but I'm going to just focus on that 50. It's a whole bunch of niggas just always, I understand the anger, but just screaming at the void and getting nothing done.
Right.
Like, stop that shit. Like, like even before, the show came on, we were talking about, little additions to the show and it just turned into, oh, I know somebody who does this. Okay, cool. Like, boom. I'm not like, we should do that more often. Not so much of, I don't know. And they're not going to fuck it. I might not need this. I don't know. 10-story skyscraper building for our business. We could do it right here on, it's 1 story. We got 7 rooms. You niggas book up in a room. And then you go on from there.
Right. I may not have use of somebody that wants to crump dance in front of the police while we're protesting, but you go ahead and do that, and you can distract them and entertain them while we're doing other things. Now we got a question from the live. So it says, I'm a Hispanic mental health counselor for kids in the school system. I'm always drawn to attend trainings and how I can help black kids and their family. Can you give any advice on how I can help them? I'm assuming they're asking how they can help black kids in general within whatever system that she's working in, which both of us have worked with, I won't say low income kids. We can't say black kids because we didn't just work with black kids, but both TJ and I have worked with underprivileged youth. When it comes to servicing black kids and you are not a black person, cultural competency is always number one factor. Figure out what's going on in their neighborhood, because their neighborhood is the first form of learning that they're getting. So a kid that's in Compton is going to learn different from a kid in Inglewood. Those are 2 totally different environments. So learn the environment first so you understand how to help those kids. And then reach out culture-wise. Like I notice here, especially in LA, like we're very easily accepting of Latin culture here in Southern California. But everybody's not always easily accepting of black culture. Now, granted, that's a whole nother discussion too. But if you're going to accept people into your culture, allow yourself to be accepted into theirs. That's something else that I would say. What would you say in regards to helping?
I would agree with both of those. And I would say, just for things not to do, I always see, and they're not doing it maliciously, but other races like fall into like pandery things as a way to, like I know this hip hop thing, or I know this.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Don't do the latest dance. Like I've seen kids, they vibe with, and I would say this for any kid, any group of kids who are, underprivileged, marginalized, so on and so forth, is what, like people, I always say like people are like animals. Well, we are animals, but. And what a kid might lose, what you might not have in reading, writing, arithmetic for your environment, what you have are really good instincts because they could literally save your life.
Right.
So if you are sincerely, you have to give a bit of yourself. Like when I'm like, as much as I try to be professional, when I've been working in these environments, I do end up giving a good portion of myself because I feel like the kids feel sincerity. If you've been abused, you can feel an abuser coming. Your shit is on 10. Like I don't know what it is, but I know somebody finna hurt me or whatever. So anything I've told them, even if I've maybe said an inappropriate word, it's all for sincerity.
Right.
So I feel like that is something that might be undersold. Of you have to make sure that you're coming in and from a very honest space and be patient.
Right.
Because there's some things you're just not gonna know. As much as I might identify with black kids, black kid coming to me talking about Fortnite. Look, nigga, I'm a black gamer and I don't care about so just as a very small example, be willing to learn and let them, you can shut the fuck up. Like if you shut the fuck up for a couple seconds, for a good amount of, don't not tell them what to do, don't not redirect them, but really listen to them. Like when they're having their, they be sitting there talking to their homies, let them say something that you might deem, because you'll start to learn like, oh, he's really into this. He might, and use your skills. You can tell when, oh, he's saying that as a cover up because he really likes this. Now we can kind of I can poke at that.
Right.
And so like I know like maybe in the next 2 or 3 weeks if I keep poking in the right way, oh, okay, I've pulled this up out of you. Like, oh, I heard him say something for a personal example, something comic book wise, but he might have said something negative about it. But I'm like, okay, that's an interest there.
Right.
So I'm gonna just show up wearing a Marvel shirt. Why you wear that shit? Because I like it. You like comic book stuff? Yeah. You a grown up? Yes, I'm a grown man. Do whatever authority you have, you think I have towards you? Does that change that I have this shirt on? Well, no, you still, Mr. TJ.
Right.
Exactly. So that kind of, now it starts to click in his head. This is pretty much just a real life personal example, folks.
Right.
I ran out of fucking make believe, but yeah, it's like, hey, I seen that. That's on the movie, right? Like, yeah, that's the Avengers thing. Now we have a full conversation, and now you have a tool with which to counsel or whatever field you're in with this kid. Because I've legitimately gone, oh man, why would I can't do this? Well, you got willpower, right? Yeah. Who else? Green Lantern got willpower. fucking whole session. I'm not. So it's just you kind of being basically like just being patient and being observant of your population.
And being authentic. So
Yeah.
to summarize, please don't hip hop harry us. Don't do it. Don't do it. Just be yourself. I think, especially within our field, I'm going to tell you, as somebody that is a mental health clinician that's about to be a full-blown licensed therapist, in my opinion, maybe not in the opinion of the field, but in my opinion, it's better if you come to people authentically. Don't come to them with a textbook approach. Don't come to them with, like TJ said, the pandering approach, trying to figure out what they like. This is me authentically. Who are you authentically? And let's let our authentic selves have a conversation and then go from there. That way you can draw boundaries within the conversation. You can create likes and dislikes. You can also find out culturally, because we can say something as black people that may come off as aggressive to somebody else when really that's a friendly gesture.
Oh,
that plays a role in it as well. Like you have to understand all the different ways that you can communicate, but you have to be authentic to get authentic communication back to you.
Yeah, and you definitely should be authentic, like with yourself. There are things that I like. My favorite joke is when I would be working with kids and I'm working with other races and I'll have this kind of question. They're like, how did you get him to, and I was like, well, I took a little bit of a liberty and like pulled my black card. Like I know how to black dad this shit because I've had a black dad.
Right.
And I know what, I don't want to say like I 100% know, but I got a pretty good idea of what maybe these 4 kids are used to or they resonate with. So what I said to you might have sounded harsh or you might have thought I didn't say anything, but when I said, sit down, like he gets that registers differently. All that, it's not mean. This right here, that's mean. What I just said, I just was forceful because he was trying.
Right.
Like having,
and you have to be able to recognize in certain cultures, how does it look when somebody is trying you as opposed to them being defiant, as opposed to them not understanding altogether. I'm not coming in here, I think you should have a seat. That's not what we're doing. A little black kid that done been through some trauma and been through some things. They ain't listening to, I don't know if we should, hey, come here, man. Let me holler at you. Have a seat. No, we're not doing that right now. We can do that later. Talk to them like they are actual human beings.
Yeah, that part.
Which is the theme of what we're struggling with today with all the protests, is because you're not treating people like human beings. If you treat somebody like a human being and like they are just like you might actually get further in a conversation with them. It's not that difficult.
Yeah. I would also, not to just jump on her, but like or him, be objective, have a different perspective. Because like you said, like, even how we're having a conversation, there's a difference between, like, I've had other races, I'm like, what I said to him was forceful maybe, and like, but he knows I'm coming from a place of, I want you to do better, and then I'm going to have a conversation with him.
Right.
You're bearing down on him. It's not the same thing.
Right.
Like, you think because you're loud and abrasive. I'm not loud and abrasive. What I am is forceful and direct. But you didn't hear me raise my voice 700 octaves. I'm like, you're trying to establish dominance over him, and that's not the same thing. So, have an understanding of what it is you're doing and be able to check yourself. Because, like, if you're mad, like any kid or anybody I've checked or whatever, I do my best checking when I'm not mad.
Right.
Like, I'm doing this for a purpose. Like,
right.
I see what you're doing is leading you in this way, so I need to, like, shut it down here, and then we need to have a conversation about it. Not you piss me off and you've been cussing me out for the past week, and now it's my get back time because I'm over it. You should probably just go.
Right. But that kind of goes into the theme of today as well, especially with the protests. Now, this may be my personal perspective. You can kill me for it or not. I'm not speaking for all black people. But that kind of goes back to what you were saying. And the overarching theme is check your feelings at home. Mm-hmm. I understand this is a sensitive time. There are things going on that we have been upset about, that we should be upset about. But being angry and expressing that anger doesn't mean that you're working towards a resolution. Sometimes you have to put your feelings to the side so that you can focus on the task at hand. You can still work angry, but you don't have to be expressively angry. Make sure you're understanding, like you said, check yourself, understand where you're at. If you are in a certain mood, there might be certain approaches and things that you don't need to do for that day. Mm-hmm. If I'm already at a heightened level, do I need to go talk to people at a heightened level? Probably not. Let me table myself for a second. Let me calm myself down. Let me get refocused on something that's going to be productive for me and what I'm trying to accomplish, and then let me address that going forward. But don't just blah, 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 blah. That's not going to do nothing but make you look like a fool, and you actually hurting the movement because you're not doing anything productive.
Yep.
So if you're even say protesters, there's protesters that are out talking and they have something prominent to say and they're saying these speeches or these poems with passion. They're using their anger and their frustration and their pain in a positive way. But if you just out there screaming, yeah, let's burn this motherfucker down. Yeah, we need to look, okay, that's fine and great. I understand how you feel. I want to burn some shit down too, but is that going to help us? No. Is that really going to help me? No. So let me put that fire and desire back to the side. Focus that shit on some weights before I leave the house in the morning, and then I can actually go out and have a purpose with what I'm doing. Because you still got to work. You still have to work towards whatever resolution you're trying to get. And ain't gonna get it. You can't be Shreking this bitch where you just scream and all of a sudden it's a happy ending. Like, that's not how this goes.
I like, you know, everybody has the fire and desire, but you know, I definitely agree with what you said about even if you're not necessarily putting it to the side. I would say sometimes, you know, you can sit with it, because even if you sit, you can go like, okay, I'm mad at you know, this situation. I might be mad at how you said it, but maybe I'm a bit over. I'm hitting the gas too hard on this. Like, not to say don't acknowledge your feelings, but sometimes you can even take into account like, oh, I just didn't like that. But even if you didn't like it, that might not necessarily make it not correct. You know what I'm saying? So I would say, you know, have your emotions, but yeah, definitely be able to do both. I don't know how else to say that. Like, you know, they both exist for a purpose, like your brain and your heart and all this other shit, but you can't, I don't think one is supposed to take, I don't know, I lean on the side of your brain should take the reins most of the time, but
whatever job that something is delegated, let it do its job.
Yeah.
Because when your brain and your heart doesn't think. It's not its job. Your brain's job is to think and make everything else move. Let it do its job. So if you're coming in with all heart is great. Empathy is great. Passion is great. Energy is great. But the brain is going to tell you how to delegate those things properly. Don't just do them. Now, we are actually two logically inclined people. We're a little bit more logical than we are emotional. So our opinion's a little bit biased. Just a little bit. It's just a little bit biased, and I understand that, and that's something that I'm learning personally. You need those people that are a little bit fiery, but again, the collaboration. Take a fiery person and a logical person. A logical person can say, hey, you're all fire and desire. Go over here. Do that, and let me handle this. Because if you come over here and do this, you might mess it up. But if we work together collectively, like we're supposed to be doing in the first place, then you can do this job because that's what you're good at, and I can do this job because that's what I'm good at.
Yeah. I also say, too, like, I try to take into account how much of that is, like, a practice trait. Like, naturally, I do enjoy, like, you know, not being all out of pocket and shit, but I know, like, I'm like, you know what, let me give people a little bit of slack, because I've, like, practice. Like, okay, this made you mad. Why did that make you mad? Let's go ahead and take however long, 30 minutes, an hour of silence to kind of backtrack through this event, through how I thought about this event, through how this other person's perspective of this event, so I can get to this, like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Like, right. Okay, great. And then, like, but I'm like, okay, maybe if everybody didn't do that, but I'm like, you didn't just wake up and do that, you practiced that. And maybe because I say a lot of titty jokes, people be like, that's another thing, like, if I get a lot of, like, titty jokes, funny this, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, but I'm also like a practiced individual in these other areas and aspects.
But that goes to our conditioning. We're so used to things being one way. Even going back to us thinking that in order to get rid of racism, we have to get all racists to come to our side. Like, no, some things just are the way they are, and that's fine. And you can accept things for being the way they are and still progress forward. There's multiple sides to all of this. It doesn't have to be one particular lane that we all stay in. I can be the therapist with all types of degrees and credentials all day long while I'm at work. But when I come here on the podcast, do I want to talk over your head with mental health terms? No. I may want to talk about titties and ass that day. Mm-hmm. There's many hats that we can wear if we feel like wearing a hat that day at all. It doesn't have to be a linear approach, people.
Just had to let them know they got the hat.
Oh, yeah. Well, nice. I can't put mine on. I got to. I can't. Fucking dad hats. You can't wear this shit with dreads. I can, but I got to cut the top out that bitch like I'm kid back in the day. But no.
Bald privilege.
It works when you older.
It does.
When you young, being bald is not the move. It's kind of weird to be like a teenager and be bald. I've seen it. Unless you're Latino and in a gang.
Or One Punch Man, I guess.
Or One Punch Man.
That's when it's
Saitama.
Yeah, he's bald and doesn't have any facial hair, so like he's really like
or expressions.
Yeah, that's like
He's
quality A grade badass. I don't know people. I don't know what you're. I mean, I know there's celebrities who have fake made it like popular, but if you're not really into anime, I just don't know what you do. What do you guys do in your free time? This is completely sidebar, but anytime like anybody's like just completely anti geek shit, I'm like, what do y'all do like for fun? Like when it's not even like going out to like when it's, you're at the house, you know. I mean, fuck, how to get away with murder is fine, but like,
but people like that just people are approaching it in one direction or dimension, or either way, it still applies. Like it's funny, especially within our culture, but I think every culture has something that they're like, this is acceptable and this isn't acceptable as a whatever type person. For us as black people, it's really, when we've had this discussion before, there's really nothing that we can't have an interest in because we've had a hand in creating just about everything. So I can be a black dude that rolls through Compton bumping country music. Why? Because we helped create country, motherfucker. Like the original cowboys were black. Since we taken back all the stuff that was taken from us, are y'all gonna hop on horses and put on some cowboy boots? Sing it.
Something else, and then he says, "Be your man." It's some song though.
It's a few of them. I got some in my Spotify playlist right now. Dreads, gold teeth, and all. I'll listen to some country sometimes. I'll listen to everything sometimes because we helped influence all. Music is music. Sometimes to appreciate the overall arching theme of something, you can understand about appreciating all the little micro subcomponents of that thing as well. Just like we want everybody to care about Black Lives Matter now, but we still be having these light skin, dark skin discussions sometimes. Or we still want to pander to, I'm mixed with this, that, and the other. Don't, because it's popular now, talk about Black Lives Matter when all the whole rest of the year you was trying to identify with your Dominican side. Like, let's be honest with that.
That is, you know, not to just be the negative Nancy's of the day, but yeah, that's one thing that has really irked me more than any of this, like all these posts about, you know, towards white people or other races. I get it, and I, you know, hold them accountable, but I really be laser focused on us, and I'd be like, you know, there's a couple of you who like, you know, be really iffy 50-50 about, you know, your blackness all around, but now it's just like, or some people go on to protests and shit and like still take like we said earlier, taking the pictures and shit, and it's just, you know, I like it, you know, I like y'all here, but you know, after, like, this is not, I think people get caught up in the fluff. This is not when the work starts. Like, everybody gets arrested, everybody goes to jail, you know, great. But if there is not, you know, like laws on the books, like for police brutality, if this doesn't turn into, don't just buy from black businesses now, this should let you know, like, oh shit, I really don't have to go to Chick-fil-A because Mama such and such chicken emporium up the street has been there, and it's fucking better. Like, but that's a reconditioning or redistribution of your thoughts internally. So the change that we're looking for really starts with us. And this has been in my mind throughout this discussion. I'm gonna let it come out however it comes out. We are fighting for an elevation of black people, an accepting of black culture and blackness within this country, for everybody to accept us. But on a more personal level, you cannot want change in the black community if you are still pandering to Eurocentric values within yourself. So in order for you to elevate yourself as a black person, to elevate your community as black people, and elevate us within this nation, you gotta decondition yourself from Eurocentric values. You can't sit up here and say how much you love Chick-fil-A. I love Chick-fil-A. We as black people know that ain't fucking real fried chicken. If you don't knock it off. Decondition yourself from accepting these things that this country has told us to accept that are counter to us, that we know we have a better version than. And then you want to protest in the streets with everybody else. Please support us. Unify. But you also got to start within yourself. Get rid of some of these mind frames that you have set in your brain that have been told all your life in the back of your head that this is how things should be, and you know that it's counterproductive to who we really are. I think that probably will end up having to, honestly, maybe even be a whole episode at some point. But what you said, I think sometimes, and not, this is not something, testing.
Bull in the China cabinet, knocking shit over.
You thought, but we're still here, motherfuckers. Because I was finna call up Kosi in sign language, this bitch, in a minute. Anyway, But no, I think that, like I said, like, you know, even early when I was like, you know, the idea of like mindfulness, of taking a backtrack through a situation to check your emotions. What you said about going right now, about being able to kind of process and go through what's conditioning and what's not. I mean, like, I know that's hard for a person by themselves, because I remember, like, you know, say 20-year-old me, 21-year-old me, who that individual and this motherfucker now, completely different people.
Right,
but I realized
right.
there's been this, you know, process of learning people and meeting people and piecing this together and having a bunch of, I don't know, sometimes I think that I wonder how to, you know, because I still sometimes have the thought of, oh, you can get everybody, but that has kind of made me laser in on, you kind of can only grab those who are, like, you know, on that frequency or whatever fucking fancy term y'all want to use for the day. But I know that that's a difficult process for some, and sometimes explaining it, it's almost like I've been quoting the Kabbalion really fucking hard for like the past 2 weeks, I think. But anyways, like, you know, what is it, like the lips of wisdom are closed except to the ears of the understanding. Okay. So it's like, it feels like sometimes like, shit, I know I'm saying this shit, but it's like, I don't know how to make that shit hit. And I'm like, is that I don't understand it enough, or am I just talking to a wall?
Well, I mean, that's because everybody has a lane, and you have to stay in it. And everybody that has similar mindsets as you, they're going to end up in the same lane as you. You don't have to go too much outside your box unless that's something that you're good at. You're going to have multiple lanes, which is completely fine. But try to stay in your lane. And if you don't fully know what your lane is, that's when you have to go internally and figure out who I really am. I was listening, so I know I talked about this book last week, but W.B. Du Bois, he had a quote in his book, The Souls of Black Folks. I'm currently reading one of those. That's one of the books I'm reading. But W.B. Du Bois, The Souls of Black Folks. In the book, he says, it's just as, and I'm paraphrasing, it's basically just as counterproductive to our progression to have a welder focus on being a scholar when that's not his lane, as it is to have the scholar want to be a welder. Like, each of them has their own lane. And he was talking about us wanting to go to college and how certain things at that time weren't successful because we were taking people that had skills elsewhere and we were trying to force them to be something because that's what we thought we all should do. Like, if you're a barber and you're really good at being a barber, that's your lane and that's okay. But if you're a barber but you have college ability, no, don't sell yourself short. Understand your lane. Push yourself to a new height and be able to do something else. So some of us are going to be frontliners. Some of us are going to be thinkers. Some of us are going to have to be whatever. But you have to go, this goes back to deconditioning yourself and figuring out who you really are so you can understand which lane you need to fit in to help us all. And it's going to help you as well.
Yeah, I would say like just like that, like stay in your lane, or, you know, whatever people misconstrue, like stay in your box. Don't confine yourself.
No, not at all.
I would say like that, the process of being able to do, I guess, not just what you like, yes, what you like, but do like the deeper work to go, I think I'm good at this. And like, this feeds me, like understanding that there's something more to, like, everybody want to make money, but being aware of, you know, being aware of yourself, how you feel, of your spirit, whatever term you use, to go, oh, I have a passion in this and I feel good when I do this. Like, I like welding. Like, I'm like, nigga, I put this fucking table together. I've been at this goddamn, marketing class for like whatever, but I don't like that shit. But this welding shit,
right? But
you have to kind of be able to be aware of what you're doing, how it makes you feel, and then have the balls to kind of pursue that. Right. So, like, yeah, being in your lane, I would say, like, you know, I know people misconstrue that as, like, I could be you could if you wanted to.
Right.
Like, the idea here is to do what you want and what feeds you, like, and being able to tap into understanding, oh, this feeds me, whether that be, honestly, nigga, whether that be your job, people around you, whatever, like, understanding, be able to, like, kind of tap in, this feeds shit.
Right.
I feel.
But in order to feed yourself, you got to know what you need, and you got to know who you are. Like, we have tons, and I'm not shitting on you people because I'm saying that because there's a possibility that some of y'all will see this, but we have a lot of entrepreneurs with clothing lines. We have a lot of people that are makeup artists or hairdressers or whatever the fuck term you want to come there. We have a lot of those, but that's because a lot of people are lacking purpose. We're chasing a bag thinking money is going to elevate us as a community. No, money is not the only thing that's going to elevate us. You can still make money fulfilling your purpose. If you are really good at this, do that. How you going to feed yourself if you don't know the nutrients that you need? A lot of people can feed themselves McDonald's, and guess what? The motherfuckers is unhealthy. So you can feed yourself the wrong thing and it can be detrimental to you. Feed yourself the right things. Understand what it is that you need so you can eat appropriately and be able to fulfill your purpose. You need purpose.
That was actually, like, speaking of everybody, well, I'm listening to this book because I'm just an audio guy. But I was listening to I've been slow walking it too, which is kind of whatever. But anyways, The Way of the Superior Man, which is like, you know, and in the book, it talks about what you just said. It's like, it talks about it from a very, like, male perspective, but whatever, it's cool. But I think everybody should do this. Like, you have to have a purpose. Like, your purpose is really what your life should be headed towards. Like, your goal is to achieve and attain and master your purpose,
right.
And then everything else kind of falls in line with your, you know, what's that shit, purpose-driven life.
Right.
Like, so you have to be aware of and be willing to chase, like, your calling and chase your purpose, and that kind of, you know, that'll bleed into a conversation about energy or bleed into whatever, but it all, like, attracts what's for you is for you.
Right.
Because if, you know, you can't, it'll fuck up other aspects of your life. Like, you can't have, like, they have a scenario in there where it's like, if you were to have your purpose, like, if you wanted to be like a fucking, you know, I don't know, sailor or some shit, like, I need to travel the world. Like, that's your purpose, to travel the world and to find new places and all this other shit. You have a kid, you have a wife, you love your family, but you would be detrimental to everybody if you were to be like, I'm not going to travel the world, I'm going to stay here and be a good husband and be a good father. But you would technically probably be detrimental to them as well. You would be doing your best, but because you are without a purpose, all of that affects all these other aspects, because whatever makes you, you're not doing that. So therefore you're lacking in, like, so much of yourself that you don't have enough to really give or influence anybody else.
I think that comes from confusion. Like, a lot of us say self-awareness. This is the overarching thing, I guess, like being more self-aware. But some of us are being self-aware and we're not paying attention to what we're being aware of. Like, your purpose and your ability are not the same thing. Mm-hmm. I have abilities to do a lot of things. We all do. We all have multiple abilities, and ability is a learned skill. You can learn many abilities. You can have the ability to be bilingual. That's a learned ability. You don't come out the womb speaking 2 languages. Like, that's something that you kind of can adjust to. But that doesn't mean that that's your purpose. Just because I have the ability to be bilingual doesn't mean that I should be bilingual or that it's going to be purposeful for me and whatever my overarching theme in this world is supposed to become.
This is America folks that hear that, and they're so pleased. Like, that's right. You speak English in this.
Right. You're supposed to speak English. No, you're supposed to speak whatever you need to speak or whatever you would like to speak. For some people, there is like we have people, say, working for the CIA or FBI, they have a purpose. Me being able to be bilingual feeds a purpose for me to be able to be a bridge between 2 different governments. That's a purpose. This is my purpose based on my ability. They are completely different. But if I just want to learn a different language just for the sake of asking, can you tell me where the bathroom is, or where can I buy some pussy on the street, for like whatever it is that you're trying, that's an ability. That's not your purpose. I'm gonna be bilingual so I can
where the hoes at,
right.
Mandarin.
There's plenty of bilingual predators that are traveling to the Philippines right now to ask them in their native tongue how to find the little girls and little boys.
Man.
That's an ability. That's not their purpose. I would hope that they don't think that that's their purpose.
Word to y'all that ducked a bid, you know, by killing Epstein and shit.
Y'all should have killed him sooner. Matter of fact, you should have let him expose you first. They'll kill him.
Yeah,
then kill him.
His buddy's still out and about. Like, just,
I mean, they released the Black Book. So, have you seen the Black Book?
I haven't seen it.
I'll send it to you. Somebody sent it. Shout out Sam. Sam sent it to me. I'll send it to you.
See, like, and this is fucking a whole nother tirade potentially, but shit like that be just really fucking blowing me, because it'd be like, I mean, because as somebody, I haven't read, you know, the Black Book, but the idea that is not like fucking Kim Kardashian farted on the red carpet level news, like,
right?
Like that shit should be like everybody in their fucking home should be like the goddamn black. Like I'm like, you know, like that just like, you know, conditioning is a word that gets thrown around a lot, but you can't tell me like, 'cause that shit is like fucking at least nation shattering news, probably world shattering.
Of course, because it's 19 pages long.
Dog, and it's just like,
and they slid that out real nicely. Like whoever anonymous is, I guess the person anonymous sent it out. Whoever that is slid it in real nice when we protested and upset about some other shit. We ain't even focused on this 19-page document of all the people that he was fucking with and who was buying little kids' pussy from him. We ain't blowing that. And I'm a little guilty myself because I easily could have blasted it on social media too. But half of y'all don't be paying attention to what I post anyway.
Yeah,
so
I don't know.
I'll send it to
like
direct to people if they ask.
Weird, like not weird, but I know shit is like, you know, and I know that's a practice trait, but shit that kind of make you go like, we should lean into shit like that a little more. Like, as soon as like I'll do like, you know, I'll have conversations of like, you like this, you know, what start the pot, start shit, or you like to be in the weirdo shit. I'm like, I do, but I'm like, I always, for as long as I've been doing this now, anytime the shit goes and I decide to lean into it, I come out pretty good on the other side. Whether it's knowledge, even if I'm like, damn, that's fucked up, and I'm like, I'm way better for knowing this shit, and I can do this now, and this, that, and the third. Like, I would just encourage anybody, if it gives you a little, I don't know about, lean into. This is knowledge wise.
If it makes you a little bit more uncomfortable,
yeah, this is knowledge wise. Maybe not wrong whole wise unless you prep. Then lean into that too, I guess.
Right, well, I mean, even if you don't prep, you know, communication is important. But ain't nobody say you got to put your whole fist in there. It's just, you know, it's just an inch.
Just lean, like, you can lean into it probably. Right. You have more control. So if you lean back into it or whatever, lean into it. Lean into it. Title of my new book, lean into it. Hitting stores whenever a publisher decides to just throw his career away.
Unless we decide to be stereotypical Negroes and just create a song called Lean Into It.
That works.
We can do that as well. We'll figure that out. That's the whole nother aspect that we've been talking about when it comes to this.
We're going to be doing
shit. Thing. We're going to do stuff and things, and we're going to need your support to do those stuffs and things.
You want to come be a part of the stuff and things? If you've got stuff to put with the things? People.
We need people.
For stuff and things. But yeah, I'm a
that
big...
That sounds bad when we're talking about like putting thumbs in places and you're saying stuffing things. It sounds like
stuff
you're saying
and things.
Stuff and things.
You can stuff things too, though, if you're for getting stuffed.
Separate
or
it.
The
right now, just separate it.
Yeah.
Just separate
stuff
it.
And things, though. I'm not stuffing things.
Yeah, we don't want to...
Yeah, we're stuff and things.
Right.
But yeah, I'm really big on... And everybody shouldn't, you know, don't be like intimidated or whatever. You don't have to start at whoever the fuck your scholar friend's level is. But just, I would say every now and again, just make it like a personal practice. I'm going to go, you know, 30 minutes a week or whatever it works for you. And I'm going to just find some shit that I'm like, I don't know about that. Let me go, okay, let's just give myself 30 minutes. Just a little bit.
It's only uncomfortable for the first few minutes. After that, you might be all right. But part of
so many parallels. This I'm not really
of course.
To begin.
I mean, part of what we're going through right now is because we avoided having difficult discussions. We avoided leaning into those things that may be a little uncomfortable. Because, I mean, there's a whole plethora of things that we can talk about in regards to this country. Not even this country, but we'll start with this country on a small scale. How many things we could talk about that'll make you feel uncomfortable if you hear some opposite truths about it? Because, I mean... You know, this is a predominantly Christian country. We can have some discussions on that.
Lean into that.
Lean into it. It might make you uncomfortable when you really start paying attention to religion and the role that it's played, not just here, but worldwide. You can lean into that. Not that I'm super anti-religion.
If you've listened to 7 seconds of any show, you understand that I will jump out the bag on this conversation. I don't need any fucking assistance. Like, if you so much, I'll jump. But... I think people think that I'm just like, I've gotten misconstrued, which happens. Like, you just hate God. I'm like, that's not true.
No, don't hate God at all.
I think
God is real, for sure.
If scientifically proven, technically, like if you listen, like fine tuning, like just look it up. It's fucking a thing. But I think that for any person or any group of people, like, or anything, if you boil it down to like the real concrete, what fucking atomic level thing that makes something a thing. Religion and spirituality and God is the foundation upon which every other thing we do is, like whether you get a family, how you attack your job, how you touch yourself when you're at home by yourself, how you buy, everything you do is built upon this. So if that particular foundation is faulty in any way, there's ripples to how that affects you or how that affects people. And I like, even us, like, you know, like super Christian, what would Jesus do? And I'm like, okay, but y'all, one, nobody, not in anybody in my age bracket that I know, y'all haven't even read the book cover to cover, but it's something that you would dedicate your entire existence to.
Because you've been told to from birth.
You haven't done any, and not even just read, like, even looked up. It's what you don't even have to read the book back. Well, I mean, you could if you're gonna subscribe to it, but even looking on like the actual history of this religion and the book, things the book says, just dealing with certain inconsistencies. That doesn't mean you throw away God. That means that this particular version or way to God might not be the best. And that, I think, is a way to look at it, because I feel like the closer we get to the motherfuckers who, like I said before, who with sticks and sand said, you know what, we should get some math. If you're not going to tell me that them motherfuckers were like high-fiving God on their morning walks to work, I probably want to fuck with what they was fucking with. I want to at least dabble with it.
Right.
Instead of this thing here, which, if I just pull out the short list, has done terrible things to people, let alone my people, just fucking people, and just said, oh, you know, we flipped this, twist that, did this, whoop de whoop. And that to me is just, you know, like that introspective thing, lean into things that make you go, because that's fear. And fear is cool. It's a, you know, God's little beeper to say you might be fucking with something you shouldn't be fucking with, but
do it afraid. Yeah, even like, if something is uncomfortable and you're fearful of it, do it afraid.
Yeah, I would say like that. Once again, back to sitting with yourself and being self-aware.
Right.
Understand, is this fear, like, I know I don't put my hand on the stove because hot. Like, I tried, but I'm like, you got to sit and think, what am I really fearful of? Am I fearful that I'm going to, like, go to hell? Or am I fearful that I'm going to learn that this thing that I literally built the foundation of my existence around, this belief, that if I challenge this belief, I'll be unmade? Instead of thinking that you might be made anew or maybe made better. Like,
right.
That's what I think, at least for me personally, the fear was, I don't want to really, because what if I figure out that this book is literally how I view the beginning of the world. I understand the end of the world, which is low-key fucking gnarly. Like, it just is, like, just, if you're looking for just, if you like destruction and kaijus and fucking, what's that shit, Pacific Rim level destruction? Like, the apocalypse is like, oh shit, nigga, it's dragons. But if you look at that and you think to yourself, damn, I don't really want to fuck with this, because I feel like on the back end of this, I'm going to figure out, holy shit, not only me, my mother, my grandpa, like all of these people that I knew and have like told me forever, this is it.
My whole life is a lie.
Yeah, that type shit. Like, I don't think, like, you know, I think people like to pretend like that could never be me. That's some TV shit. But it's okay to sit there and think to yourself, man, nigga, like, my whole existence is upside down, which is fine.
But I think that's part of, like you're saying, leaning into discomfort, because we know when it comes to, say, our history in this country that they tell us, or that they allow us to know. We can seek out their information, but whatever. The information that they will tell us in regards to our history here in this country as far as slavery is concerned, we know they lie about a lot of that shit, and that's what they tell us. And we're okay with knowing that they're lying to us, and we're going to figure out ways around it, but we won't do that in every aspect of our life. Like, if you know that this is a lie, you don't think that there's a trickle-down effect into other things?
Which speaks amazingly into how good conditioning is, how good conditioning of religion and all that is. Because if you look at it from, you know, you look at it on a tier of what's important. Them niggas said, yeah, fuck that. Them niggas said, them white niggas said, white niggas said, you can't have, you know, property. You can't own anything. You can't vote. You can't fucking stay with your family, because as soon as you touch down, you're going to Kentucky, you're going to fucking Carolina. I'm going to rape you. I'm probably just going to kill. You don't have access to being an entire human being. But you know what you do get? The most powerful thing in existence, which is a connection to God. I'm going to give you that, because that makes sense. I'm not going to do I'm fucking with everything else. I'm taking everything else, actually. And then the shit I give you, I'm severely fucking with. But, you know,
Y'all can't dance, you can't sing,
but what
you can't speak in your native tongue, but you can go to Sunday church.
Even like thinking that something along the lines of what is that? What is it? Fucking voodoo, hoodoo, all the do's, do. You can, you can look back and you can. There's documented evidence where it's like, this is how they did their best to maintain their traditional religion, their traditional idea, their traditional connections to God. If you read up on it, first fucking paragraph, I guarantee you they'll say this is a monotheistic religion. All of these things are attributed to God. Then you can get deep in it if you want to. If you in how my pastor used to say, in your leisure, you can, if you wanted to do reading in your leisure, but you could do that in 30 to 45 minutes. Just fucking glimpsing to understand, okay, this is not how it was presented to me.
Right.
Holy shit, they told me my own spirituality is trash so they could just feed me some other shit. Like, just fuck.
But that goes back to self-awareness. And I'm not saying just because certain things may be a little bit sketchy when it comes to certain religions. I'm sure every religion has their sketchiness. But it's a choice. You can do your research and make an informed decision. If you do all the research and you see all these things and you still say, yeah, but I still resonate with this, by all means do you, and I'm not mad at you. However you decide to get connected to the higher powers or God or whatever you would like to call it, that's completely up to you. I'm not going to tell you how to have a connection with God. But at least make an informed decision. A lot of us don't understand that we have been conditioned to accept something without making an informed decision. You can be raised a Christian and decide to convert to Islam. You can be raised Islamic and decide to convert to Christianity. You can decide to identify with no religion at all. It's completely up to you and it's your choice. But you have to be self-aware to understand which choice fits me, which path fits me. Which one helps me fulfill my purpose?
Bars.
For the people that's watching live, I'm going to have to reset this because it's about to end in 10, 9, 8. I'm not about to do the full countdown, but y'all going to have to come back and watch it again just so y'all know.
We thank you for your support and viewing of our stuff or listening to our stuff. Oh, no, wait, you in story, they're viewing our stuff. Whatever. But yeah, folks, that was the usual rant that it'll always be because I know I'm gonna talk about this shit again in the same
all
way.
day long.
Yeah, I just just as I look at it as a practice of, you're not just being like, oh, I'm aware of my history, but you find power in that. You find ways to change your perspective on life. That shit really can like alter your life and how you go about things, and just something as powerful, as impactful as your connection to the higher power. I just feel like, it should take a little more practice than just, whatever you indoctrinated in. Even the idea of like, however you choose to get there is another conversation. I had that conversation like yesterday or the day before, about like, if, I want to say I've said this too, like if God was like the city or if God was LA, you can take about X amount of freeways to get to the city. That doesn't necessarily mean like that's the only way. Do you know what I'm saying? To get to God or get to understanding. Like if you took, the 10 is the only way to get to Los Angeles. You're not. That's not true.
No,
that's not. Like that's just a particular way. And even once you get to the city, there's a whole bunch of things that you did not know. There's a bunch of left, rights, turns, tall buildings, whatever the fuck. And I don't think people give. And once again, I think this is comfort, and I think this is something because it's, easy, and the unknown is scary, and all this other, valid reasons to have fears or whatever. But that, Christianity kind of maps it out real easy. Not even the joke that people say like, oh, I could be on my deathbed and be a super murderer, and I just say, forgive me, Jesus, and I get in. Like, just that it's very, it's very easily planned out. Like, God is this way, heaven is really nice, it's white, you get wings, and you fly around with like looking like the end of a Tom and Jerry episode or some shit. Like, it's very like there's not a lot of. I don't think we give God or religion or the after or the end all enough complexity that it deserves. Like thinking that like the next phase of this, if it's complicated down here, like the next phase would be less complex or less whatever, and not giving and not, I don't know, just not having like a way to step out and have various perspectives. Like if you, like I want to say, did we talk about this on air last week where it was like, if you believe that there's 2 loaves and like, 5 fish.
No, that was I think that was off camera conversation we were having.
Well, yeah, but if you walk on water, not to diss this, but like to think that, okay, if we say things like this, you raising people up from the dead, you're talking to, so why is it if somebody were to bring about conversation about Orishas, or if somebody was to bring about a conversation about, how, what is it, Mambos or whatever, like they, nigga went for a ride and all of a sudden that's some bullshit. That's not why. Why is that? How is, because we 100% are buying into the fact
that's a folk tale
that there's a dude that that Jesus got up from the dead and he just walked into heaven. Live body, like like that's never happened before. He's super, just wow, this is some crazy. He just walked into the sky and potentially walked into a whole new dimension and nobody batted an eye. So I just, I just don't understand necessarily not looking at all things like, okay, well, this might have a reason, this might have this. And we know anywhere else, any other avenue, if we go back, we go, oh, this is the root of how this thing came to be, whether it's, math, English, whatever history, you go back, okay, this started this and this is how this came to be. I see the similarities. Somehow we go, nah, this here though, we gonna stop this right here. Hey, I just want to throw it out there that there's a lot back here. Fuck that.
Right.
Fuck that. Don't.
But that's because we do that with ourselves. We won't even unpack our own personal trauma, let alone unpacking our understanding of all these other things. Like we have a linear approach with ourselves. So of course, our approach to everything else is going to be linear as well. Like you can only understand the world as good as you understand yourself.
True.
Like if you're not willing to learn all the intricate details about yourself, you're not going to do that with your understanding of other things outside yourself within the world. And that's unfortunate, but you put yourself, like you said, you put yourself in a box. You limit yourself. And it's really easy to do. It's just like get in touch with your inner child. Like your inner child when you're like 5, like everything is why. Like do that. Why? And then you get to a certain age with yourself, you don't even ask why no more. You just like, I'm just going to fucking do this.
You should always ask questions. Because I would say like that. I would say it's not easy, but I say all things are, especially like with I don't know, man, self-awareness, being discovery, spirituality, whatever avenue you're trying to, grow in. I think I never tell people it's easy, but I think it's very simple. Like
right.
Like working out. It's my favorite analogy, because working out is a very simple process. You go in there, whatever type of workout you're doing, you pick the shit up, you put the shit down, you put more weight on it, and you pick the shit up again, you put the shit down, your body changes, and you eat right. Simple process. It is very fucking hard though. So I think people should get in the mindset of this shit will be a hard process, but it's gonna be easy. I mean, simple. All I got to do is just ask this question.
Focus.
Deal with this answer. Ask the next question to follow, and just keep that. You should and do that shit till you die.
Be persistent.
Yeah, I don't think you should ever you should never until I stop having the capacity to ask questions about. I could do this for myself, let alone other topics that will come up on this here platform.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I don't think you should ever stop that, because I think you limit yourself. You can't. You can't go out and say like, I'm the best me, I want the best version of myself, but you're not challenging yourself, and not just in, they're not superficial ways. Like, you challenge yourself by going to school, you challenge yourself by getting a new beach bod, but really challenge your core beliefs of what makes you a person. Because you really you should never be the same person you was last year. Well, okay, well then do that. Like,
right.
but really challenge
yourself.
What makes you that person. Like, not, oh, I'm in a, new tax bracket. That's fine, but like, really fucking
right,
do that shit. Like,
because you could be in a new tax bracket without understanding that they're gonna take more money from you. Like with your elevation comes some sort of knowledge that has to go with it. Stay focused, stay diligent, stay encouraged. Like, you have to be able to continuously seek these things and be willing to be made, as we said earlier, uncomfortable. You have to lean into that discomfort. You can't just be satisfied with one little piece of something and think that's going to give you everything you need. Breadcrumbs don't make a sandwich. You need multiple components to make a sandwich, not just one little thing, but that's going to cause you to understand What else do I need? Matter of fact, what type of overall thing do I want in the end? And how do I get these two components or multiple components to come together and form this overall thing that I'm looking for? You can't just be satisfied with one piece of whatever.
This is my usual couple seconds of shitting on people with memes. As a person who very much so, I love memes. I love all of them because they're really, really funny. But I feel like this is really speaking to you all, people who like post a lot about love the journey. It's not about the destination, it's about the journey. But y'all journey is like, you taking a couple trips around the block. Like,
right.
Go on, travel to the next city and then get on a plane and travel to the next state. Like, let's take this journey as far as this motherfucker can go. Let's just take a belief and tear that motherfucker up. Like, and if you beat it, then you move on to the next belief. I'm extremely adamant about that because I just feel like if you get that, if that was like a core thing for like, us as the people, like if you were just to kind of grind up beliefs and how people attack things and all this other stuff, I feel like kind of a virus. Yeah, I can say virus is not to put a negative connotation on, but it would.
Coronavirus?
Yeah, it would. Fuck. It would be like contagious. It would just be like, oh, this shit is. I got it here in the core shit, and it just is spreading everywhere else in your life. Should have just spread like a virus. Oh, I want to ask this. I want to do this differently because I've taken the time to undo some core rule type shit. So I don't know, people. Like that's what I want. I want that for everybody. I definitely want that for us. But if anybody out there listening, just take. I would say nigga, take whatever, any belief. It don't even have to be about God. Any core belief. Fucking let's do some hard shit. Get some gender role shit in there. Do all that shit.
Get all that stuff.
Get all of it and just start why. Because if you end up because that's just how it's supposed to be. Ask
multiple questions.
Oh my God, ask a bunch of questions.
Because you need to know that stuff. So like shout out to Wise, my homeboy Wise within live. He said my son said 1 million breadcrumbs can make a sandwich. Unless he plan on eating a bread sandwich, he's going to need multiple. You can have 1 million breadcrumbs all you want to. You still just got bread. It ain't a sandwich yet. So I know you.
He finna eat a loaf.
You a thoughtful brother. I know you'll explain that to him. But for those that may not understand that, you still need multiple components to this. We can go back to religion and say Jesus fed all these people with 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread. He still needed fish. He ain't feed them with just bread.
I'm gonna go back to what we're going through now. Like I think black people as a whole, we are on at least our 1,057th breadcrumb. We ain't made a sandwich yet.
We didn't. As many times as we've protested and been angry in this country from the beginning of us being here. For those of us that came over, not the ones that were already here. That's another discussion.
Boom. Didn't see that one coming.
But for those of us that were brought here, we've been protesting and angry and rising up so many times in this country. We have loaves of bread. We still ain't got no sandwich.
I mean, I'd take some bologna right now. Shit.
We'll take anything.
Yep.
Because it's motherfucking bread that we done built up over this year.
So
it's dry. We ain't got no water.
A hoagie's worth of bread.
All day long.
Not a stitch of meat.
Not at all. Everybody else got the meat and the lettuce and all this other stuff, and we just standing here with bread, wonder why don't nobody want to include us into the sandwich party.
Yeah, and I don't know. I think that's, once again, to just bring it back to self. Another good trait, folks. It's always your fucking fault, so always think back of what did I do wrong.
It's always your fault.
I don't give a shit what happened. I don't give a shit if, you got beat the fuck up. 5% of that was your fault because you fucked around and said something that, granted, there are certain situations where, you might just be at the wrong place at the wrong time. But I'm pretty sure, in my experience, there's a good high 90s number where it's always your fucking fault. I don't give a shit if it was, 80, 90% of this person going crazy. Like, there's fucking, it's a pretty shitty scenario probably. But if I'm Tina, you hit me once, nigga, it's over. It's a wrap. Like,
right.
I would have got that boot like the first fucking time. We both got to die in this bitch. So but
you got to lean into that discomfort.
Yep.
We won't go into the whole DV discussion because we don't condone DV at all, and we're not going to blame those that go through it. But within every experience that we have in our lives, we do have to accept some sort of accountability in whatever's going on. Like within DV, to educate those that may not understand, a lot of DV situations get worse because the person experiencing DV has many opportunities to leave, but they bring themselves back. And it's just like a drug addiction. It may take them a couple times of trying to make that transition out of it to be able to be successful. It's not going to always happen the first time. For some it will, for some it won't. In regards to us, like we said, this is our millionth protest being here. We haven't gotten things exactly the way that we need, but we do keep making minor progressions. But for our part, as far as being accountable, where we fall short is we get lax. We see minor change. Like right now, we're protesting. We're not going to be happy until all 4 are in jail and convicted. We talking about one case.
Even more than that. That's what actually made me say, because I saw some that were like, they finally been arrested, victory or some shit. I was like, that's not it. That's not shit. That's not like, and I know it's, whenever you talk to people about it, the vibe I always get of how exhausting it feels to just fuck, man. We have to, and that is, I don't have any other way to think about it, at least right now, except for you have to, sign up and be buckled in, because you just know the alternative. So it's like, what are your choices? Like, you stand firm. Like,
whether you know the alternative or not, you know the alternative that you want. Most of us, prior to COVID, were going to a job that we can't stand every single day for a paycheck, and you were dialed into doing that, but you can't be dialed into fighting for your freedom every day somehow, some way. If you can focus on something that's negative for you or negative to you, that means you can focus on things that are positive for you or positive to you. You just got to delegate your energy in a way that's going to be purposeful for you, not give you certain abilities. We'll work that job that we can't stand to get the ability to take a trip, but it doesn't serve any purpose for us other than putting money in our pocket, which is not a purpose. That's an ability.
Yeah. And even, I don't know, and even that particular grind, you can take those energies and and just change your perspective on it, because we all are going to jobs, but we talk about, I just always like to focus on, if you were to link up with your own people in a variety of ways, if you just want to do your own thing, or if, like you said last week, which I thought was a awesome point that I never hear anybody talk about, if I'm doing a thing that requires your skill set, David Banner said himself, one of the best things I've ever been able to do is be able to hire people that look like me. So fucking do that, like that. Boom. That part. Just put them together. Link them up. Link them up, folks. Yeah,
my finger puppets.
I just want us to be more focused on.
Just stop right there. Just stop.
Yeah.
We want us to be more focused. Period. Just be more focused. Period. And we can't completely, because I'm not 100% focused all the time. We all have our moments.
That's another thing.
But be aware of that.
I feel like when this gets said, people think that you are always 100%
not at
laser.
all.
But if you are aware that the end goal is this, my focus is to get here, then yeah, I can fall off the wagon 57 times, but I always know I'm gonna get back on because I know where my focus is. Our focus be like, we need them in. Arrested. No. We need them motherfuckers need to go to jail, go locked up, convicted. But we need things on the books to take all this unnecessary power away from cops.
Right.
Like conversations about the budget being shifted for Los Angeles. That's
the conversation.
That's
we need.
the conversation. That's once you've been out here for a week or two, now it's time for all the rah-rah. Now it's time to be educated. Okay, what are we rah-rahing for now? Because it's not just police brutality bad. It's like, hey, man,
that's wrong.
This is Bill, BC 772 that says, whoop-de-whoop, we want this shit done. We're also proposing that this shit get done.
Right.
If you're going to play the system, don't just, everybody says, systematic oppression and systematic this. Well, bitch, do some systematic shit, because y'all just screaming this buzzword systematic, but we're not understanding what a system is. Because the system is, we're talking about people that conducted police brutality getting convicted for their crimes and sent to jail, but we're also not looking at the fact that they've had a career and a rap sheet from somebody that hired them and kept them employed, who they also are part of the problem, and they need to be getting rid of also.
And they probably had somebody that hired them and brought them in. There's probably multiple people within that division that have the same mindset. So if we're going to be systematic, you have to understand what the system is. And the system is not just one component. It's not one breadcrumb. You need to get the whole sandwich.
Yeah, and be this way, and when people say, I think sometimes, and I understand the frustration of, I give what's the quote unquote conscious or woke pages a lot of flack, but because and I understand that you start reading something, you start getting educated, and you do the first feeling you start to get is these motherfuckers, how the fuck, and then you cut your phone on. And for some reason, it's always, a Motorola Razr with terrible fucking pixelation, and you're just screaming at me.
Oh, there's so many apps to correct that.
Yeah, you're just fucking. And I understand that those feelings. I just go, okay, man, like, where's the people with step 2? Where's the people who are like, and really gravitate amongst each other, like, not just, oh man, I'm black when I, like, once again, stop being reactionary. Like, I'm not just black when one of us dies. I'm not just for black things when somebody, like, it's great. It's great to have a black woman in this on my post with her afro out with her. She was beautiful all year.
Right.
Like that's been a beautiful thing all year. I've been loving black women all year. Like, or black men have been important, have been providers, have been protectors, have been all these great things all fucking year. Like all of these things, I really, really dead set on us, like, being forwardly focused. Stay buying black business. If you don't like, I wish they would have, like, better presentation or whatever, then give them money so that they can fucking build their thing up. Like, I really like that shit. I just wish she would. Okay, well, support her. Help her do whatever the fuck it is. Help him, blah, blah, blah. These white people, they just, like, really, once again, all these things kind of pouring in. Examine why you sitting up there trying to figure out why you not buying Dirty Laundry, which is a great black-owned store, or Brick the Billboard, or fucking ETNLA. Think about why you're like, oh, man, they shit dope. But, if they burnt that down, you wouldn't be up there. They burning down the Lenox Mall, and the Gucci ain't never done nothing to y'all. The shit not even really that great. Like, so just, just fucking, it's not to say you can't enjoy other fucking brands or whatever the fuck you like. But this is a consistent thing. Like, you're all year long, you like going to the rec to play ball or whatever. All year long, I like to play video games. So all year long, I like black shit. I think, and it has to be, if you don't have that as a habit, then it's 21 days, man. 21 days. If you do 21 days, y'all, of just fucking with black shit, it's a habit. So do it.
That includes yourself. Your blackness is not a hashtag. Don't clout chase your blackness. Like, embrace it. We like it now. Like, going back to the example you're saying, this woman has been beautiful all year, but because we're having a black moment, you're paying attention to her and all her natural beauty. But you've been shitting on natural beauty all year long to pay attention to these lace fronts. Like, if you're going to accept blackness 365. That includes the blackness within yourself, not just this tiny microcosm of a time, right? No, all year long, accept blackness, support blackness. Just like, I'll go off on a tangent a little bit. I appreciate everybody's support here that don't identify as black. But some of y'all are saying, we support black people in y'all struggle right now. You black too if you do your history. You saying you stand with us. You are us. You just don't know it.
I feel like that shit. There's a lot of other conversations that'll come out of all of these things. We'll hit all these topics at some point. I understand you.
We don't plan on stopping anytime soon.
I really, just to sprinkle on that, there's a lot, and I'm not taking away from your traditions, different cultures.
Not at all.
But really, if we're just going to keep it, just boil it down to a roux, your great whoever just happened to get dropped off early. It's not, it's cool. It's great. It's awesome. It's fun festivals and shit and whatever. But also, you just, like, your exit was like 2 exits before mine. That's fine.
Even if they didn't get dropped off, some of them never, like, even before the slave trade, like we had our discussion off air, the Moors was all up and through Italy and all these areas teaching white people how to wash their ass. So you think they wasn't fucking too while they was teaching? Like some of these culture is what you identify with, but that doesn't mean that it's your race. Like I am American.
You're welcome, Jersey Shore, for
yeah,
existing or whatever.
Because there's a lot of different races of people that can't stand our race, but they don't really understand like their race is influenced by our race. If they track their history back further enough,
cradle of fucking civilization.
So you kind of hating yourself, which is really kind of silly if you think about it. But I guess you don't want to think about it. That's kind of the issue. Like you don't
tune in every week because we're always gonna say shit like this. Okay.
Yep. Every week.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Like it just all of it. I don't know. Everything. You know, it's all connected, but it really is. Like what I said before, like, you know, about being more coherent of being pro-black, so to speak, all year. Because then we have our, you know, our black economy grows. The black dollar stays in the black neighborhood. We can grow shit. So then there's no more of, we don't have jobs. You know why? Because we're fucking giving each other jobs. And now we're all fucking millionaires. Like just all of this shit, and still tying back to the awareness piece. Like if you take time to not just be reactionary, but sit down and, you know, and kind of just sit by yourself. Even if you're not linking, I'm not a fucking business aficionado, but just sitting there thinking like, oh, hey, this goes with this. Oh shit, this could branch out to this and this. Holy shit, if we just see how that shit is kind of like, I feel like that's really simple. I'm not saying to be easy, but I don't know, man. Like, shit be hard. Fuck wrong with y'all? Like, niggas always say, I got it out the mud. Well, get it out.
Right.
Make it make sense. Like, it's muddy over here, too. Like,
right. You get it out the mud, but did you clean it off?
Yeah, like, you just got it out the mud.
And stayed muddy.
Threw more mud over there. And
come on now. I made things muddier to get out the mud. That makes absolutely no sense. That means everything just muddy. Muddy waters all the way around.
Yeah, you know, all of these things, what you speak, you know, matters, makes sense, fucking speaking into the universe. So even when niggas keep saying shit like, you know, what else we gonna do? A lot, nigga. Like, there's so much. What the fuck?
There's so many steps to this.
Fucking so many things. Like,
God.
if we, you know, there's always still like a lot of parallels I always take to music because that just has a lot of cultures, and it's one of the, to me, the better examples of motherfuckers just grab bagging out of our shit and then us making the shit they grab bag and then sitting there saying to ourselves, how the fuck we going? You made it. You just, it's you, nigga. What?
It's been you.
The fuck is wrong with y'all? And then, you know, not to be, you know, shitty, but then, you know, you see somebody like the fucking, one of the staples of independence is fucking Russ. And he'd just be like, hey, you niggas are dumb. Like,
it's not that difficult.
Yeah, you're just
make some shit and stick to it.
Bro, he's like, yeah, every time he's just like, yeah, I made $1 million off this song you've never heard because I only give a shit about the people who are, and they're all buying my shit, and it's amazing.
Right.
And for us, to be completely fucking honest, we only give a fuck about us.
Right.
Like, in far as like who's listening, if I make, you know, if I was a hip hop artist or if I was whatever, or even if I'm getting like dressed and I'm going out, it hit harder when it's like, hey, nigga, them shit, yo, nigga, them shoes, or yo, bro, I like your fucking fit. If I get one of those, I might go back in the house because I'm like, wait, what'd you say? Oh my God, bro, that's fucking, I love your outfit. I'm like, what you mean you like my outfit? Do y'all like my outfit?
Now I gotta change my outfit because now everybody gonna ask me what I got, where I got it from, and they gonna try to copy. No, I did this for me. If I did it for me, I don't really need the acknowledgement. I just got in tune with myself. I appreciate the acknowledgement, but whether you compliment me or not, if I'm out here in some silk drawers, I just felt like wearing some silk drawers.
Well, there's
and
that
a bow tie.
Well, that's probably the better perspective. Mine was just like, we give a shit more about our reaction to our stuff.
Right.
So then what what is the big, like, even if you don't really care for the whatever other group of people's reaction to your stuff, why you get so caught up in like they need to buy it? Just
right.
I would, he hasn't always done the best couple things in the past couple weeks. But what Boosie does well, I'm gonna get me a goddamn Boosie statement in this bitch. That motherfucker caters to the motherfuckers who fuck with him. And
right.
Country ass black folks. And niggas, when I want a ratchet moment, I'm not gonna lie, man. Love Kendrick to death. But
that's not his lane.
Yeah, I know I got royalty inside my DNA, but tonight, nigga, I like them nasty, and I need that shit right the fuck now.
Right now. need all that nastiness.
At first, I need to set this bitch off, and I want people to know that they call me badass, and I'll punish you. Then it's gonna be nasty, and then I'm gonna be in the club fucked up. Got my people with me, and then maybe after that, just fuck, man.
But it shows that you can be prosperous by focusing on your lane, focusing on your purpose, and utilizing your ability. That's the overarching theme of the conversation. You can make it. You can be rich just focusing on just you and what you do well. It's not hard to do. You don't need everybody to fuck with your shit. Like, we would love to have 1 million plus viewers and listeners to this podcast, but we can still be successful with 50,000. Not to say that we're aiming for 50,000, but we appreciate those that want to come back continuously. Because you can have 1 million people give you $1 one time, but that doesn't mean they're going to give you $1 every time. You want people that are going to consistently give you an investment, and it starts with investing in yourself.
So we'll take you 50,000 if you'd be a loyal 50,000. I would take a loyal 50 over just some fluffy ass. Y'all can still come though, but I'm just saying.
Y'all can come stay for a while. You might learn something before you leave, and leave that $1 while you're at it.
Yeah, I don't know Frederick Gibson personally, but Freddie Gibbs is the thing. If you're a hip hop person,
Freddie Gibbs an alchemist,
bruh, him, Alfredo shit. That's it, man. That's the show. Just a Dope Ass Podcast. I am Chad Awesome. TJ, I should have done that in reverse. I don't fucking care.
DC King Carter. That's with an 11, not with an I.
And that's it, man. We'll see y'all next week. We love y'all for real, my babies. And that's it.
We was busting that police before Queen and Slim. That's on the fin. Let off 50 shots of the squad car and get in the wind. Told the